Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, The View today went so far over the line that one of the cast members, because that's what they are, they're a bunch of actors up there, one of the cast members of The View, the hostesses, very well could find herself fired. And I want to talk about that right here in the beginning of the podcast. We've got a lot of other topics we're to get to as well. So hang through the entire show. We're going to cover a lot of big and important things, including something major with our governor, Ron DeSanctimonious. All right, now I want to start with The View first. Today, it was, Friday was that big day, that Hamas Day of Rage was called for. And that's a pretty scary thing. If it was a normal time, a normal week, it'd be a big deal, but you wouldn't think about it so much. But Hamas invaded Israel, murdered babies, raped and killed women, kidnapped Holocaust survivors, and there's a major military action about to take place. Well, it's already started. Israel is pushing back against Hamas. So Hamas called for an international day of rage after their massive terrorist attack in the middle of the beginning of what could be the Third World War. And there have been these pro-Hamas Palestinian protests all over the world. And in this country, they've been happening on university campuses, Chicago, Illinois, New York City, and all over the place. So today was a day on The View where one of the hosts, Sunny Hostin, said some things that are anti-Semitic, and I'm going to play you.
Shocker.
I'm going to play you the clip in just a moment.
She's just a bigot. She's just a hateful woman.
She doesn't like anyone.
No, she doesn't.
And what Sunny Hostin did was irresponsible. When there's a war going on that was started by a major terrorist organization that's had the loss of life that this one has had from their terrorist attack, it's got awful. I mean, because of the size of the population, Israel has a much smaller population than America, but the loss of life is equivalent to our population would be as if we lost tens of thousands on 9/11. So it's pretty big what's happening. It's getting worse. And when you're in when Hamas, the terrorist organization, calls for a day of rage, that's a pretty scary thing when you see what's happened this last week. You want to cool things off, not heat things up. So the coven of The View, and if you don't know what a coven is, Google it, and then you'll get a chuckle, okay? The coven of The View, we're talking about Israel, and everyone on The View has been behaving properly and saying the right things and supporting Israel, which, of course, is the only side in this that you should be supporting, except Sunny Hostin. So let me play this, and then we'll talk about it. This is today on The View.
I look at this from a legal perspective, and I think that we all know.
Okay, now this is a new thing that Sunny Hostin is doing. When she's been doing this the last week or so, whenever she has some outrageous opinion, whether it's anti-Semitic or racist, she's a lawyer, so she always says this is a legal perspective. She tries to hide behind this thing. Well, this is a legal perspective, as opposed to my true feelings, which is just a lie.
I look at this from a legal perspective, and I think that we all know that Hamas has been designated a terror organization, just like many other terror organizations have had this designation, like the Proud Boys here in the United States.
Well, I missed that. The Proud Boys have been designated a terrorist organization? Where did that happen? Did you guys miss it? The Proud Boys are Hamas now and ISIS? Have you guys heard that? Who has designated the Proud Boys a terrorist organization?
She's mental.
Had this designation, like the Proud Boys here in the United States. But I do think that what we need to remember is that there is an international human rights body of law. And when you look at that law, part of it is retaliation against innocent civilians collectively is also terror and is also a war crime. And again, those are not...
Okay, now what she's talking about is Israel moving into Gaza, and now remember, the Israelis have been saying if civilians get out, Hamas reportedly has been blocking them and won't let them out. And she's attacking Israel, accusing them of targeting innocent civilians, which is not even close to the case. In fact, it's just a lie.
Innocent civilians collectively is also terror and is also a war crime. And again, those are not my words. Those are the words of the law. And
hiding behind. She just called Israel war criminals.
Yeah, she's hiding behind
that is the law. That is the law.
President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said just last year when we were all talking about Ukraine, she said Russia's attacks against civilian infrastructure, especially electricity, are war crimes. Cutting off men, women, children of water, electricity, and heating with winter coming. These are acts of pure terror, and we have to call it as such. When you have 2.2 million people stuck in an area, half of which are children, and you're telling them
attacking Israel is the reason that they have a problem now?
Anthony Blinken is down there in the region right now trying to work with a diplomatic solution for these refugees. But I want to say, and I think this is very important, what Israel is saying consistently is, if you want your water, if you want your electricity, release our hostages. In my view, that's not an irrational question. That's not an irrational demand. Release our people that you are holding there.
And human shields. And they should, but in the process, they should really refrain from committing war crimes or terror because they're going to lose the goodwill.
I do think it's very
Okay.
Wow.
And the condescending tone she has.
So what's worse to Sonny? Cutting off electricity or cutting off the heads of babies?
Well, she didn't comment on that, babies.
I mean, that's what they should have asked her. What a lunatic.
Now, Sonny Hostin.
She needs to be fired, and she might be after this.
There has been, this week, there has been, I've been talking about this all week, guys, so I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but I haven't heard others pointing this out as much as I have, and I think it's important. You know, I've been doing this for a while, following these issues. There has been a major change in this country. Usually when Israel is under attack and Jews are being murdered, okay, the media and the leftists in this country always come out against Israel, especially when Israel defends themselves or fights back. And each and every time it's not happening as often as it normally does. And when it has, there's been an immediate backlash and people have reversed positions and it's totally different. Sonny Hostin here, what she said was so far over the line.
Yeah, it was.
She should be removed from the air. And I'll tell you another thing. This is why it's this day of rage. When this day of rage by Hamas was announced, and today is that day, when you are a public speaker like that with a national platform like she has, you don't give legitimacy to the people who are calling for an international day of rage targeting people worldwide.
That's crazy.
What she is doing is in many ways the incitement of violence, which is illegal. She should be. She very well may not be there on Monday. Depends on how much play this gets.
Because she's a horrible person, and all she does is spew hate.
That's right.
And she's a bigot, and apparently she's an anti-Semite.
She hates
white people. She hates Jews. She hates everybody.
Yeah, she does.
Probably hates herself, too.
Now, you know, the thing about The View is I don't watch The View, and people ask me this when I play clips. Why you watch it? I don't watch The View. Something stupid like this happens on The View, and it's all over social media. So I pull up the audio, and we talk about it. And I think that's how it is with most people. I don't think many people watch The View. I think it's like me. They see a clip on their Twitter feed or something. That's pretty because something like this happens. But what has happened in Israel since last Saturday is exactly what happened at the beginning of the Holocaust. And I've seen all the documentaries and all the movies and everything. And years ago, I went with our daughter to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C.
I remember this.
And when the Holocaust Museum, I wasn't expecting it to be like it was for me, but when I went into the Holocaust Museum, I remember I went into this one room and they had on display the Nazi uniforms, the SS Gestapo uniforms in these display cases, and they were real uniforms. They weren't replicas. They were real worn uniforms. And I was looking at, and it was just frightening. And I was just in it, and that was, I saw that when I first walked into the museum, and it just was. What we've all seen in the past with when the Nazis first took over. You've seen the film where they were beating Jews on the streets, and you guys know what happened. But that stuff, in a way, we all feel so removed from it because it was a long time ago. It's in black and white. A lot of it doesn't even have audio. So it's this, what we're seeing is in high definition 4K. You know, we were talking earlier in the week about the girl kidnapped on the motorcycle. That by the terrorist, that looked like a scene out of a movie. It didn't even look real because we've never seen something like this in the video and audio quality that we've seen it. And the Israeli army generals are doing something that is just so smart. They have the international media is embedded with the Israeli army as they're moving forward. So everything that the Israeli army encounter, the media are encountering it right there. In fact, when the story first came out about the 40 babies who were beheaded, the reporters were right there covering it as it was happening. And these are things that just cannot be denied, these atrocities. And Sunny Hostin is in this bubble of liberal anti-Semitic racism that she needs to get out of.
Online with her? Or what's the reaction?
Not yet. I mean, you know, it just happened today. And
what did Whoopi Goldberg say? I mean, she's Jewish.
She wasn't there today.
She changed. Well, how convenient.
But the rest of the View corrected her. They were too polite about it. But the rest of the women on the View were appropriate. Joy Behar was taking the lead, and they clamped down on her, but they protected her in that they veered off of it. Well, I was going to say
that was more about protecting her.
They veered away from it
than anything else. They probably told her after the show, "We just saved your ass," because I think that was more about protecting her. And you see that a lot. They'll shift the topic or get somebody off the topic as a way to be like, to protect their job. Because in this world of cancel culture, I mean, it goes both ways. People now get fired over things like this. You know, they say something and well,
she should be fired.
And there's a lot of Jewish people in the entertainment business. We all know that. And I cannot imagine them allowing her to say things like that. And somebody like Sunny, who I would imagine, I've read 2 books on working at The View. One was by one was a tell-all. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was pretty good about The View when Rosie O'Donnell was on it. And then there was another book about it, and Meghan McCain wrote about it. It's very toxic. It's apparently a horrible show to be on. And maybe they don't like Sunny at all there, but she's a black woman, and maybe this will be their excuse to get rid of her.
Maybe.
People like this that nobody likes, and I promise you, the way she is on camera is the way she is off camera. And people at The View might not like her, but they might be afraid to fire her. And when she says something like this, that gives them a way to do it. Be like, well, we got to let you go because you said this, and we're getting all these emails. If you don't like what she said, you should email The View and tell them, because I think she's a horrible, toxic person. I think she contributes nothing to I don't watch it, but the clips I've seen, she contributes nothing to that show. She doesn't elevate the conversation at all. She's a hateful bigot, and I think she's a horrible person. I wish Whoopi Goldberg was there today because I really think she probably would have taken issue with her since she is Jewish, I would hope, or she would have definitely done a big diversion.
Is Whoopi Jewish?
She not only is Jewish, she changed her name her name is Karen Johnson.
Yes.
Her birth name. She changed her name to a Jewish name, Goldberg. So she identifies as a Jew. She changed her name to a Jewish name. So I'm assuming she's very religious.
I didn't know she was actually Jew. Are you sure about that? I want to look that up.
I'm pretty sure she is Jewish.
Because I thought there was some cultural appropriation controversies with her taking the name. I'm pretty sure
she's converted to Judaism. I mean, all I know is since Biden's been in office, we have 2 wars. The border's a mess. And I told Brian today I'm waiting for China to invade Taiwan. That'll be the 3rd war. And I knew when Biden was in the White House, all these things were going to happen, as we all knew, because he's weak. He'll do nothing about it. And they're all these world leaders are taking advantage of his weakness.
This is what Whoopi Goldberg says.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
this is what Whoopi Goldberg says. Okay, about her stage name, Whoopi claimed in 2011 this: "My mother did not name me Whoopi; she took it from Whoopi Cushion. But Goldberg is my name. It's part of my family, part of my heritage, just like being black. And I just know I am Jewish. I practice nothing." I don't go to temple, but I do remember the holidays.
Maybe it's her mom's maiden name, and Johnson was her father's name.
She stated that people would say, come on, are you Jewish? And I always say, would you ask me that if I was white? I bet not. One account suggests that her mother, Emma Johnson, thought the family's original surname was not Jewish enough for her daughter to become a star.
Yeah, that's what they said, that she changed it to get in Hollywood. That's what they say.
Yeah, because Henry Louis Gates, who's Obama's friend, who does that genealogy show with all the
who do you
all the
think
actors.
you are? Yeah.
Okay, Henry Louis Gates found that all of Whoopi Goldberg's traceable ancestors were black, that she had no known German or Jewish ancestry.
There you go.
And that none of her ancestors were named Goldberg. Results of a DNA test revealed in a 2006 PBS documentary, African American Lives, traced part of her ancestry to modern-day West Africa.
So she's like Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, she's
exactly like her.
She's passing as Jewish.
Passing as Jewish.
Yeah, she's not Jewish.
Elizabeth Warren believed that Cherokee was in her family, that her great-grandmother was Cherokee, and Whoopi Goldberg's falling in the same line of BS. She apparently believed, that's her story, that her family, I think personally they both made it up. I think they did it both for their career.
Well, this is what Whoopi Goldberg did. It's pretty obvious. Some of the funniest Americans who have ever lived are Jews, and she thought if she had a Jewish name that it would help her in the comedy business.
Right. How many comedians are Jewish?
All the great ones.
Almost all of them.
That's right. Now listen.
Almost all of that are good.
Now listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. In fact, I got a couple of huge stories you will not want to miss and probably not hear anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Are you ready to embark on a journey to holistic health and empowerment? Look no further than Dr. Poonja Gidwani, MD, in Los Angeles. Dr. Gidwani is not just your trusted primary care physician, she's your partner in wellness. She has a passion for personalized care and is board certified in both internal and obesity medicine. With a clinic in Beverly Hills, Dr. Gidwani offers concierge medicine services and house calls throughout the greater Los Angeles area, bringing the best care to your doorstep. Same-day virtual appointments are available throughout the state of California. She's also a specialist in skin rejuvenation, offering mobile services like microneedling and chemical peels, weight loss management, primary care services, and more. Visit her website, PoojagidwaniMD.com. That's PoojagidWaniMD. Follow her on Instagram at dr.poonja.gidwani for information on how you can optimize your potential for total wellness. Dr. Poonja Gidwani MD, your path to a healthier, happier you. PoojagidwaniMD.com. Have you ever looked around in awe at stunning photographs and wished you could capture moments just like that? You can. You just need the right help, guidance, and education from a professional. And that's what you will find in the book, Digital Photography Made Easy, the complete course to creating amazing pictures. It's available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. Photography is more than just snapping pictures. It's a powerful skill that can tell stories, capture memories, and ignite change. Whether you're a complete novice or looking to refine your skills, Digital Photography Made Easy is your comprehensive guide. It's never too late to start your photography journey. With Digital Photography Made Easy, you'll discover the secrets and steps to go from a beginner to a master photographer. Imagine freezing a moment in time, capturing breathtaking images, and sharing your unique perspective with the world. The possibilities are limitless, and creativity knows no bounds. With Digital Photography Made Easy, you will learn the tools, tips, and inspiration to turn your interest into a hobby and your hobby into a fulfilling career. So grab your camera, ignite your passion, and join the digital photography movement today and order your copy of Digital Photography Made Easy, the complete course to creating amazing pictures, available on Amazon. From author Saj Mahaligam comes a heart-pounding journey into the world of crime and redemption in the book Kitchen Fork, an intriguing crime thriller available right now on Amazon. Meet Jin, a man willing to risk it all to rescue his family from the most guarded detention camps in North Korea. But when the moment of opportunity finally arrives, the price is higher than he ever imagined. The night of escape leaves the family divided, with their lives changed forever. Their 11 and 8-year-old must survive alone in the dark woods. waiting for a mother and sister who never appear. The two boys are captured and sent to an orphanage. Their destinies take an unexpected turn. Then there's Jen's wife and their youngest child who face a difficult decision, one that will haunt them for years. The sons find themselves in the United States, where they form the most feared gang in Chicago. Initially formed to combat bullies, this gang takes a dark turn into drug trafficking and other criminal activities. Kitchen Fork is about family, crime, and redemption. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Kitchen Fork, an intriguing crime thriller from author Saj Mahaligam, available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, there was a happening with Ron DeSantis today that I believe was completely fake, completely staged, and I'm going to play you the audio and tell you why I say that, okay?
Is there anything real about this guy? I mean, does he have breast implants too?
I would not be surprised. Ron DeSantis, okay, yesterday started talking about sending rescue flights to Israel to pick up trapped Floridians, okay? And today he's in New Hampshire and he gets confronted by a guy and has an exchange, which I'm going to play for you right now. I believe this exchange between DeSantis and this guy in New Hampshire is 100% fake. I don't think it's real. I think it was totally set up and pre-planned, and that Ron DeSantis knew in advance that it was coming. Here we go.
As fake as his high heel shoes.
What you'll get out of me for sure.
Well, Ron, what do you think about the annihilation and the decapitation?
Okay, now, before I play the rest of this, the guy, this is in New Hampshire, the guy says Ron. He didn't say governor or Governor DeSantis. He said Ron, which is very, very unusual.
It is.
I have been to political events with politicians, past and present, that hold all kinds of offices. I have never heard any normal person like me or you show up at a political event and talk to an elected official or a former elected official and call them by their first name.
Yeah.
And I've met more than I can remember people like this. I've never seen that happen, which shows familiarity.
It's like Don Lemon's cameraman.
Exactly. And another thing about this, Ron DeSantis wins the debate. Really? Why can't he do this well when he's on stage debating people in any of his debates that he loses every single time unless it's scripted? So let's just play the whole thing now.
He can't be off script.
But that was the first one I heard. There's one other thing that I'll tell you when it's over. That's a big tip. So far, he's calling Governor DeSantis by his first name, which I'm telling you, I have never, for any elected official, congressman, governors, it's always congressman, governor, Mr. President. I've never, even with municipal officials, mayor.
Or at least Mr.
Commissioner.
DeSantis.
Yeah, I've never, ever heard that by the first name. So, and then the second tip-off is Ron DeSantis just whips the guy in the debate. And then there's a third thing.
You would think DeSantis would say to him, don't call me Ron. Call me by my proper name. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's his friend.
Yeah. So, and there's a third tip-off, which I'll tell you when the exchange is over.
What you'll get out of me for sure.
Well, Ron, what do you think about the annihilation and the decapitation of all the Palestinians in Gaza right now? They basically bulldozed the whole. I worked in the Gaza Strip and worked in Palestinian refugee camps.
But they are not decapitating babies' heads. They are not intentionally doing that.
They're blowing up entire residential buildings. I watched Al Jazeera's, and they're not covering that.
Well, I would be very careful with Al Jazeera. I mean, that's
Al Jazeera's guy messed up his line.
Yeah, he did.
funded by a lot of these Middle East governments. I'd be very careful with Al Jazeera.
I don't think they're faking pictures of families carrying their babies totally dead. It's pictures like that. Israel has been killing Palestinians for the whole time Gaza has existed, and they've been contained in prison.
Israel put in a warning. We're we're going to go in this area. Civilians leave. Hamas tells them not to leave. Hamas wants them to be human shields. That's their tactic, technique, and procedure. How many other armed forces give warnings to get out before they go? I think Israel's probably the only one in the world that does that.
I don't condone the killing of any innocent civilians, and I don't condone what Hamas did in the kibbutzes, but Israel is doing the exact same thing with Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a radical, right-wing, crazy person. And I see hundreds of Palestinian families that are dead, and they have nowhere to go because they can't leave the Gaza because no one's opening their borders.
Well, that's the thing. You bring up a good point, though. You bring up a really good point. Why aren't these Arab countries willing to absorb some of the Palestinian Arabs? They will not do it. Egypt will not do it. Saudi will not do it. None of them will do it.
Displaced from their homes in 1948. I was there. I saw where
none of them will do it. None of the Arab countries will be able to accept refugees.
You had my vote, but you don't now.
Okay. Now,
first of all, I know it was a setup because he said he worked for Al Jazeera.
No, he said he watched Al Jazeera.
No, he said I worked. Oh yeah, he watched Al Jazeera.
He
so
worked
he got
over
the
in
name
that,
wrong, even though he worked in that area and watched them news regularly. Apparently, he got that wrong. He called him by his name, and then he said, there was another thing that was a tell for me. Now I can't remember.
Well, there's a big one, which I'll tell you in just a moment, but a couple other things that came out of that, and then I'll give you the big one. This exchange, okay, the guy at the end says, you had my vote and now you don't. And what this is about is trying to make him the big defender, tough guy of defending Israel. What Republican was going to vote for someone until they found out they were pro-Israel? All Republicans are pro-Israel.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
100%.
That makes no sense.
So,
and the guy talked like a liberal. I mean, that's what liberals say.
But
liberals defend the Palestinians. Liberals defend that group. Yeah, and all that's going on there. Liberals attack Israel. So this guy was never going to vote for.
So no. Well, the guy is working for the DeSantis campaign.
So
this was a complete setup, and I'll tell you that this is the big one. This entire exchange, you never see the guy. No one moves the camera and shows the guy. They have
their camera on him the whole time. DeSantis the whole time,
so they get the sound bites.
That's right.
And listen, there's other people in the room. And some photographs and other video from other people may come out. But the original news story that made this a national story today, you do not once see the guy. And also, he's not identified in any of the articles at this point.
Let me ask
you
something.
So they don't want you to know who he is because he's working for, the Bushes, Karl Rove types.
Yeah, they don't want a video of him.
So he can't be identified.
If DeSantis sent a plane over to that area and rescued American hostages, which is a good thing. Do you think that would help him? Do you think that would be the thing that would turn the tide for him?
Nothing can
as
help
far
DeSantis.
As the polls.
No, nothing's going to help anyone running against Trump.
But do you think it would at least help him turn it in a different direction? I'm not saying he could beat Trump ever, but do you think it could get him a closer second instead of going down? Could it turn the tide where he started to go up a little bit? What do you think it is about DeSantis that bothers people so much? I know people that meet him obviously are turned off, but not everybody is meeting him. There are people that are. Is it the momentum? There are people that are not supporting him that have never met him. Is it just the betrayal of Trump? Is it that they think he's weird or he's awkward? I mean, there's just a combination.
It's a mix of all those, and this exchange. Like, we were talking earlier this week on the program and on my YouTube channel about the 6-inch heels that he has hidden on his shoes. Everything about DeSantis is lies and deception and manipulation of the media and lying to us. Whether he lied about being MAGA. He wears 6-inch high heels and hides that. He has and this is not the first fake exchange he's had. We've talked about these over the past year. He's had some other fake exchanges with people. And the fake exchanges like this, everything about this guy is deception, and that is frightening.
He is the typical swamp creature. He is the typical empty suit politician. What was that movie with Tim Robbins? Wasn't that what his character was like, where he was faking his paralysis?
Yeah.
He is the typical politician that is told where to stand, where to go. He's handled. He doesn't have any thoughts of his own. Mm-hmm. And that's very typical in politics. And that's a very dangerous way to be, because when they get in office, they do what they're told by whoever the powers that be are. And this is why Trump was so unpopular with them, because he told them to go F themselves. And he said, I'm going to do what's right for the country. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do because you think you can buy me. And he was the first one in a long, long, long time, maybe ever, to stand up to the state, to the deep state. But DeSantis is the deep state. He will do whatever they say, whatever they tell him to do. Like you said, he's fake, he's packaged, and he's just presented to people, but nothing is working. Nothing is working for this guy. And it's not just because people love Trump. I think there's something about him, too, that turns people off as well.
Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support of the program. And if you would like to support the show by becoming a patron, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And there's many perks and benefits that Patreon supporters have access to. And one of those is our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every podcast episode. So the names I'm going to read off now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Maria in Texas, Melissa, Richard, David, Heather, ActicFox, John, Paulette, and Carlos. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Brian Mast today, this was pretty amazing what Brian Mast did. Brian Mast served in the Israeli army after he lost his legs after his 12 years of service in our military. And
that's incredible.
And, a lot of people volunteer and do these short-term things in the Israeli army where you do odd jobs on the base and stuff like that. A lot of people do that, and that's a good thing because it relieves the regular soldiers from having to do, things. But Brian Mast did something a little bit more, and then today he went to Congress wearing his Israeli army uniform.
Wow.
And, I've met Brian Mast a couple times, and I know he can be wishy-washy on some things sometimes, and I haven't always been the biggest fan of him. But when I saw him in person the first time was at a Trump rally, and it was before the cameras were on TV, and he walked up the steps to get on the stage, and I couldn't believe how difficult it was, and he wouldn't let anybody help him.
Oh yeah, those kind of legs are very tough.
They're like the Terminator legs. I mean, they're made out of that titanium, and he's really an amazing person,
like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, but listen to this. This is in Media, which is liberal, but then they got a little bit of audio I want to play. Congressman Brian Mast showed up to the Capitol building wearing an Israeli Defense Forces uniform today in a statement of solidarity with the world's only Jewish majority state. It used to be the Jewish state. Now it's the Jewish majority state. It should be the Jewish state. Congressman Mast is a veteran of the U.S. Army where he served for 12 years and earned a Purple Heart after he found an IED that took both of his legs in Afghanistan. After continuing to serve with his injuries for 2 years, he retired and then volunteered in the Israeli Defense Forces as an expert on the disposal of explosives. So he wore his Israeli army uniform today, and
brave guy. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's got to be painful for him.
Oh yeah,
to walk around in those with those fake legs.
Oh yeah,
but he has no legs. Both his legs are gone, and he's not a small guy. He's not a small guy, so he's got a lot. You got to figure he's probably if he weighed himself about 100 pounds. Wouldn't you say, with the torso and the upper body, maybe more?
I don't know.
He's not small. I mean, he's not heavy, but he's a big guy. And he's got to put that, imagine walking on stilts like that with no legs to support your upper body.
He's amazing.
It is incredible to me. I mean, he might have like a upper calf or something that the stilts go on, but that is incredible when he walks around and then to go over there, and he's a man that walks the walk for sure. I like him. I think he's a good guy.
He goes into Congress today wearing his Israeli army uniform, and then of course the press are there. It's brief, but listen.
What's with
today? Can you tell us anything?
I don't know who this guy is. He says, "What is it with your threads today?"
Yeah, another
weirdo liberal.
Yeah,
what a bizarre question.
What's with your threads today? Can you tell us anything about those? Charlene's got her flag. I've got my uniform.
Okay, so what he said was pretty good. The reporter says, "What's with your threads today?" Which is just juvenile. And Brian Mast says, "Tlaib's got her flag. I've got my uniform." Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool. Tlaib. What's happened with Tlaib is amazing. She's gone underground. So, what happened with her is her refusal to condemn the beheading of those 40 babies. She's never, ever, ever going to be able to move beyond that. That is going to be the end of her being like an outspoken activist on TV.
Well, the liberal media are trying to turn the tide back to attacking Israel. And, Israel attacked a few places and all this stuff. So that's what they're using the footage from that to try to do that. I mean, look, obviously I support Israel. I mean, I'm a Christian. That's what I do. But it's a bad situation if there are people that are under the thumb of Hamas that are Palestinian, which people have said. I don't really know too much about that are victimized there. That's not good either. I mean, it's a bad situation all around. I don't like to see anybody get killed, innocent people get killed or children being hurt or anything. It's horrible. I can't even – my mom asked me today, have you been watching? I said, no, I can't. I can't watch it. I can't pay attention to it because it's too upsetting to me. The things I see on the Daily Mail and on Twitter – and stuff, it's very upsetting, and maybe I shouldn't bury my head in the sand, but there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is pray about it, which I do, and that's it. Me watching those things is not going to change a damn thing, and maybe I should look at it. It's upsetting, though. I saw a few pictures today of children in hospitals and blood everywhere, and it's just so tough, and I just feel I don't understand, but this is human nature. I mean, I was just reading in the Bible that the other night that the world is the devil's world. It's his realm. It said God gave the world to the devil. It's his realm. This is why it's evil, because this is the devil's playground, is the world. And this is why men are evil and women and do horrible things to each other. And it just blows my mind when you look through history of the things people do to each other and how they treat each other. It's just incredible to me. People are capable of such kindness, but then they're capable of such destruction at the same time. It's just crazy. But the human mind rationalizes things like Sunny Hostin. She rationalizes what's going on to fit whatever perspective she has. And people have an amazing ability to rationalize violence to me. I don't think it's ever rational, but it's either a religious thing or this or that. The only time it's rational, if you want to call it that, is if you are being attacked and you have to defend yourself and you have no other choice. With Israel here, they had people that were kidnapped. They're taken hostage. They're killing babies. How can you defend that stuff? I don't understand. I mean, that's an attack to me. They're supposed to sit there and just let it happen and not try to get their people out. They obviously did this so they would get a reaction out of the Israeli government. I mean, they knew that Israel was going to retaliate. They want a war. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Yeah. It's just a bad situation.
And
it's awful.
Everyone knows Zelensky must be freaking out because the gravy train's over.
Oh, God, yeah, he's done. He's done.
This war in Ukraine with Russia is going to end right quick. And because we see the horrific footage out of Israel, we've seen nothing like this out of Ukraine. What's happened in Ukraine is there was major combat in the beginning, and now they have a stalemate, and the borders have pretty much been drawn, and it's where it is. And I'm sure there's some skirmishes. But if there were,
they're going to be hard pressed to continue with that nonsense.
If there was some hardcore fighting going on between Ukraine and Russia, Zelensky would have it all over the press by now. But there isn't any.
Yeah, I think people are seeing what's happening in Israel. And they're realizing, you know what? We haven't seen anything like this out of the Ukraine.
No.
Is there even anything going on there? Why the hell are we sending billions and billions of dollars? If something was happening, you don't think Zelensky would be getting that out for people to see?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No.
It's been a week almost.
There's nothing.
Since everything started, and he's shown nothing because there's nothing to show. Now, listen, we're going to take our last break. Oh boy, don't miss the next segment. We got so much more to cover. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Attention educators and homeschooling families. Are you in search of top educational tools as well as resources at prices you can afford? Look no further than ReadNovelStudies.com. Read Novel Studies offer a wide range of original novels, including their latest, The Locomotive. In The Locomotive, readers will meet Ed and Charlie Whittle, two brothers seeking to escape a troubled home life. Their adventure begins when they stumble upon an abandoned locomotive being restored by the mysterious Jim Smith. Promised excitement and intrigue, they embark on a cross-country journey, even starting a new business along the way. But hold on, the plot thickens. When Sully and Lamont join their crew, the once promising venture takes a dark turn. As secrets are revealed, fear and danger intensifies. Stranded on the train, Eddie and Charlie must rely on their wits to survive. Join them on this adventure that's filled with secret alliances, hidden communications, and the ever-present threat of betrayal. But that's not all. Read Novel Studies also offers educational resources, including coloring books. Their resources exceed the standard requirements taught in numerous English-speaking countries, including the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and more. Don't miss out on this educational journey with Read Novel Studies, online at ReadNovelStudies.com. That's R-E-E-D, ReadNovelStudies.com. Visit the site right now and unlock a world of engaging and informative educational resources. ReadNovelStudies.com. This Christmas, experience the magic of the season with the book Searching for Christmas from author Andre Herdoukas, available on Amazon. In Searching for Christmas, meet Ben, a young boy from an isolated orphanage who's never had the chance to experience the beauty of Christmas. But this year, everything changes. Ben embarks on a thrilling adventure to discover the holiday he's only dreamt of. To make his dream come true, he must conquer his fears and learn to play the accordion, hoping to charm the hearts of the townspeople. But his journey has its challenges. He must face the taunts of children in the orphanage and navigate the dangers of the forest on his way to the city. Along the way, Ben finds an unexpected friend in Dave, and together they learn the true meaning of friendship in the search for Christmas. Searching for Christmas is a touching story that will warm your heart and remind you of the joy and wonder that this magical season brings. Searching for Christmas is available in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook on Amazon. This will become a treasured part of the holiday season with your family. Order your copy of Searching for Christmas from author Andre Herdoukas, available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Parents, grandparents, and teachers, take a thrilling Halloween adventure with your children like you've never taken before with the book Brain Juice from New York author Michelle Ura. Being a zombie can be a real challenge, but this new zombie girl discovers a whole new way to enjoy her zombie diet. She craves the juicy crunch of apples, the sweetness of strawberries, and the fresh tropical taste of bananas. But what happens when she decides to mix these tasty fruits with brains? Find out when you read Brain Juice, available in both Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Don't miss this chance to treat your little ones to this fun and spooky adventure. Order Brain Juice from author Michelle Ura today on Amazon. Brain Juice, where Halloween meets healthy eating in the most unexpected way. Order your copy on Amazon. Mystery Lovers, the new book from author Zeta Alfaro, is now available on Amazon. The Last Note, a Miami music mystery. In The Last Note, meet Vi, the lead vocalist of Miami's premier cover band. She's used to the spotlight, but things take a sinister turn when there's a murder at her performance at the Steel Horse Bar. With an electrifying gig-turned-chilling crime scene, Vi becomes a suspect, and a mysterious lyricist stalker weaves a dangerous game using her favorite band songs as threats. Join Vi as she races against time to find the murderer, decode cryptic clues, and navigate her unexpected feelings for the charming Detective Hostin. The Last Note is perfect for book clubs too. And don't miss the sequel, In the Key of Dead, a Miami music mystery, available now on Amazon. Music, murder, and mystery await. Order your copy of The Last Note, a Miami music mystery from author Zeta Alfaro.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. A couple follow-ups here. One on that involve Sonny on The View, Sonny Hostin. There was a clip, I don't know, a week or so ago. I did not play. I had the clip and I didn't play it because, The View. But it's very relevant, not just to the first segment, but what's going on. And it looks Jim Jordan is now the favorite to be speaker, but they put up the Republican rhino establishment rats, Republicans against Trump, put up a guy just to try to stop Jim Jordan. So they haven't given up yet. They're scheming. But
he said he's gaining votes, Jim Jordan.
Yeah, he very well.
I would love that.
So Sonny Hostin, this was like October 4th, 5th or so, was talking about Jim Jordan. Listen to this. She's a real twisted person, Sonny Hostin.
I will just say about Jim Jordan, he has been called by his own party, by John Boehner, a political terrorist. He's also been linked to the Ohio State sexual abuse scandal. I testified in front of Congress about something so simple, cameras in courtrooms. He came in late, he looked disheveled, and he immediately was screaming and yelling and terrorized me and the other experts on the panel. And describing him as a terrorist is exactly that. He's a chaos agent, and it came out of nowhere, and he had no command of the subject that we were talking about, which made it even scarier. So to have him, the thought of him being the Speaker of the House, I think leads to more chaos for
his role model is Donald Trump, who has no command of the language either.
As she says.
Those two can't even talk. Here's the deal with Sonny Hostin. You got two things going on.
It's the same as either, I think.
She has a very elevated sense of herself. She thinks she's an expert. Yes. And she's got a victim mentality. She clearly has a victim mentality to go on TV and act like Jim Jordan terrorized her and victimized her. What does she do? What is she doing right there? Calling him out and saying horrible things. She does that every day on her show. She says horrible things about people. So by her definition, she's a terrorist too.
Well, MSNBC has done something that they thought they were doing secretly. And, doing something on the air on MSNBC, even if it's on the air, can be considered secretly because nobody watches MSNBC. But they have done something that is – you guys aren't going to believe this. This is just absolutely floored me.
Nothing surprises me anymore, Brian.
This story – I found on the Drudge Report. I've been going back to the Drudge Report the last few weeks, you guys, and it's very retro. I know a lot of people don't go to the Drudge Report anymore, but I started going back there, and every few days I'll find something interesting. And this is on the Drudge Report right now. Just broke on the Drudge Report earlier today. And MSNBC has been like PLO TV this week since Israel was attacked. But listen to this. Now, I was playing some clips.
PLO TV, what's that?
Palestine Liberation Organization. That was Arafat's organization.
That's right. I thought that sounded familiar.
And over the weekend, last weekend, they had that Velshi guy on, and I on my YouTube live streams, I was showing some clips, and the things he was saying about Israel were so inappropriate and out of the line. Well, listen to this. MSNBC has quietly taken 3 of its Muslim broadcasters out of the anchor's chair since the Hamas attacks on Israel last Saturday.
Oh, my gosh.
Amid America's wave of sympathy for Israeli terror victims.
Wow.
MSNBC did not air a scheduled Thursday night episode of the Mehdi Hassan show on their Peacock streaming platform.
Who's that?
You would recognize him if you saw him. He's on MSNBC a lot, and he's on Peacock.
Is he the bald guy?
No, that's okay. MSNBC also reversed a plan for Ayman Mohayeldin to fill in this week for Joy Reid's show. He's an Egyptian-American veteran NBC News correspondent. He's covered Gaza for 2 years.
Wow.
And he's Muslim. In 2021, he questioned Israeli leaders on strikes on the Palestinian territory. 2 MSNBC network sources with knowledge of the plans have said that the network plans to have Alicia Menendez, that her father's the one that took the bribes with the gold bars.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
They got a great pool of talent over there.
So MSNBC is going to have Senator Menendez's daughter fill in this weekend for Ali Veshi, the 3rd Muslim American host, who on Sunday interviewed a spokesperson for the Palestinian Authority on MSNBC.
This is incredible.
So they've taken 3 Muslims off the air.
Why don't they replace them with Jewish people? Do they even have Jewish people that work there?
Well, they replaced Velshi on the weekend with a senator who takes bribes in the form of gold bars, Alicia Menendez. Some staff at MSNBC have been concerned by the moves, feeling all 3 hosts have some of the deepest knowledge of the conflict. NBC says the shifts are coincidental. Yeah, right. And, I haven't seen the other 2 guys, but I've seen Velshi a couple times, and his coverage has been very anti-Semitic. 3 continue to appear on air to report and provide analysis, but they're not in their anchor chairs.
That is incredible.
An MSNBC official pushed back against any notion that Hassan or Mohel Yeldin were being sidelined, which even though they're not able to
It's just a coincidence.
host their show.
They're all 3 Muslim.
Yeah, exactly.
Right after all this is happening over in Israel.
Isn't that something?
It's just a coincidence. Oh, my. They really think the audience is just stupid.
Then,
they really do.
Listen to this. This is crazy. A reporter for the Associated Press based in Gaza has a social media history of blasting Israel as oppressive, an apartheid regime, and he has he's been removed by AP from his duties for AP because of his anti-Israeli social media postings. What now? This change that's going on in this country it's all Trump.
A picture says 1,000 words too. I think the images and the things with the babies, and it's just too much. It's just too much you can't defend that stuff.
No.
You just can't defend that stuff.
No,
it's indefensible.
You can't. No, you can't.
You come out and defend it and you look like a complete lunatic, like Sonny Hostin.
Well, MSNBC, when it comes to the cable news, is as liberal gets. And for them to make choices like this is unheard of. Now, I've been telling you guys this week that I got an email from Mike Lindell asking me to do as much extra promotion for MyPillow as I possibly can, and because he's in trouble. He had to let his lawyers go in these lawsuits because he doesn't have money to pay them.
Yeah,
and you guys know all the problems Mike Lindell is going through, exactly what Trump is going through with the weaponization of the legal system and of the court system against him because of his support of Trump and everything that goes along with it. And through all of the trials that he's gone through, he has not laid off any of his employees. And
it's really important to support him and keep his business afloat and make sure he doesn't go under and all those people lose their jobs. So I think it's important. He has a lot of great things that are not too expensive. I mean, you don't have to get the topper or the mattress if you can't afford that. There's a lot of other things that are really cut down on price. And I'm telling you, it's coming up with Christmas, and it is the best place to buy Christmas gifts. And you can ship it to wherever you need it to go. If you have family that lives somewhere else, send them something. Send them a couple pillows. Send your dad or your mom some slippers. If you have parents in a nursing home, send them a pair of slippers each. They will love them.
And remember,
they really make the best gifts.
When you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you get these incredible discounts. You can use our promo code Kane on any of the specials you see at MyPillow.com and Mike Lindell's MyStore.com. And you're not only supporting Mike Lindell when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're supporting us too.
Yes,
and
also very important.
Exactly. And if you click on, when you go to MyPillow.com, if you go to the radio podcast listener specials page, that's where the specials that I keep talking about, the extra discounted, the $100 off My Slippers, 50% off the MyPillow 2.0 with temperature regulating technology. Now, we talk often about the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, but there's these other sheets that that are very popular. The Percale bed sheets.
It's a cotton, but it's like
it's 100% long staple cotton, it says.
Yeah, it's a different type of cotton, but it's supposed to be like even higher end.
Okay, those are only $24.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. And there's again, incredible deals, incredible specials. Support us, support Mike Lindell, and support the MAGA movement. Use our promo code Kane at checkout.
Good time to get the flannel sheets.
That's right.
I'll be getting the flannel sheets out very soon because we're having a cold front next year. Did you talk about this case on the radio at all? This case, local case in Jupiter?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. I don't know if you guys followed, but it's been on the news here every day. this father just got convicted. He was locking his son. He had an adopted son from Vietnam, and he was a behavioral problem. And he had a room in his garage. This was a rich man. They lived in Jupiter, which is a very rich part of South Florida. And they had a beautiful home, and they had a room built into the garage. It was an 8 by 9 foot room with a bed and a cabinet with snacks. And he would lock him in there in a camera and leave him in there for hours and hours and hours at a time. And they have ring footage of him yelling at his son and all this stuff. And he's an idiot because they offered him a deal for 2 years. He didn't take it, and he's going to get 30 to 50 years for this. Now he got convicted yesterday. It's a big story down here in South Florida. So I didn't know if that had made the national news.
I haven't seen it in any of the national news, but maybe I just haven't been looking at that because my eyes glaze towards other things. Sometimes you miss certain stories.
I'm not sure how I think the kid must have told somebody what was going on because I'm not else sure how people found out about it, that it was happening in the house. But he had a Ring camera. His own camera footage kind of worked against him in the court case, which was interesting. They have all this Ring footage. He had a camera in the bedroom monitoring the son. And I've been following it here locally, and he got convicted. I couldn't believe it. And then they said on the news they offered him a 2-year deal. He didn't take it. He would have been out of jail by now because this has been going on for 2 years. Mm-hmm. When they offer you a plea deal, I don't care. I mean, I would if your lawyer says you can do 2 years, you'll probably be out in a year on good behavior, or we could take it to trial and risk getting 3 30-year counts. What would you? I would be like, take the damn deal. I mean, what are you?
Especially
idiot?
If you're guilty.
How arrogant? Well, yeah. I mean,
like this
he
guy.
Actually did. They have video of him, and they have the room. I mean, there's tons of proof that he did do this. They have the room. They have it on video. They have him locking his son up. They have him threatening to lock him up when he wasn't behaving on the Ring camera. It's incredible to me. So they showed him getting convicted yesterday, and the look on his face. And he's a very wealthy guy. I mean, a clean-cut guy, and you could tell he had a nice suit on. His wife's trial's coming up.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.